Welcome back to Switch to Linux. All right, of course I start talking and the cat's getting scared and wants to run away. One cat's the scaredy cat. All right, well, welcome everybody. I'm very pleased that the encoder is actually working tonight. The other day on Wednesday when I went to stream, the thing was not pushing out enough bandwidth, and I had to stop and restart another thing. And then what happened is the video got totally buried in my video manager like it was recorded months ago. And so it's like, it was kind of crazy. But anyway, we got some fun stuff up here today. I mean, we got some neat news articles that were happening this week. I had a hard time, but I actually narrowed it down to a little bit fewer than I usually do, trying to keep these a little bit, not going super duper long. But what we're going to do is have a look. Well, before we jump over there, we'll just say hello to everybody. So NI is here. Greetings. And NI is talking about this new Microsoft keyboard with a fingerprint sensor. Woohoo! I don't know if I should be terrified, run for the hills, or simply declare that, yeah, Microsoft must just be following the way of Apple, because that's kind of what Apple did on their latest, in fact, all their latest incarnation of their computers. They got the little fingerprint thing up there. Ooh, Apple Pay, put my fingerprint there. Whatever. Log in, fingerprint. No, fingerprint. Nobody ever pays any attention to that. These fingerprints are, we don't store your data. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And Ryan is on. Started as Octo-O. That would be Ryan. All right. Hello, Liam. How's it going? NK, how's it going there? Okay. So, our topics for the day. We have Microsoft articles. I found two fun articles from Microsoft. There's some scammer news, a little bit of privacy news. We're going to talk about some bad business, a little bit of corporatocracy, and we've got to end it with, okay then, that was an interesting article. So we're going to kind of jump in here. I'm going to find my view for these. There we are. We are going to start right on in with a giant fireball. That is right. The Checkpoint Security Group looks at this firewall malware. Checkpoint says that this malware hit about 250 million people. Microsoft says, no, it's really only about 50,000 people. But Windows 10s would be immune. Okay, if you remember when Windows 10s first came out and I was talking about Windows 10s, you heard me say that Microsoft is probably going to turn this Windows 10s thing into into the latest incarnation. They're going to be pushing and up-talking this so much, because what their goal is with this is to get everybody on Windows 10s. Why? Because it is a walled garden, and they will have full gatekeeper access at a fee for every piece of software the person would like to run on your computer. So this Fireball malware is installed by the software bundling. Now, if you don't use Linux right now, this is one of the great things of Linux, is that you don't get any of these side-loaded software packages. So what this is, if you go online, and even like real programs like a Flash and Java and other programs that you need, even fairly reputable programs like CCleaner and other Paraform programs, you go and download a copy of that for Windows, and what's it invariably going to ask? Would you like to install the Ask toolbar or the latest McAfee internet security? You know how many times I've had to fix people's computers because they're calling me up, I can't get on the internet. Did you install an antivirus? No. Did you install anything lately? I did. Okay, it probably installed McAfee internet security, and McAfee internet security blocked your internet route. Happens a lot, actually. So you download a program, a free program by a fairly reputable company, you would hope anyway, and they bundle it with this extra software like the Ask toolbar, the Yahoo toolbar. Of course, you get your McAfee in there, up there. And so they're pushing all of these various different things. And as they're pushing these various different things, it's adding extra software to your computer. Well, one of the things that gets added is this Fireball malware. Of course, Windows is sitting here going, but Windows 10s would not get that. The reason Windows 10s would not get that is because we're going to control everything. So, of course, Windows 10S is just like this absolutely bulletproof program. And so ZDNet wanted to determine how safe this thing is. So they got themselves a copy of Microsoft Windows 10S on the new Surface, specifically with the goal of trying to hack it. They succeeded. Through a program installed through the store. Good old Word! Macros. They were able to run a macro on Word, which allowed them to get an elevated root access prompt and take over the computer. There you go. So, yeah. It's more about the money than anything else. Let's have a quick look here at the comments. We're getting some views over there. Of course, people hate it when you start talking about Microsoft. If I knew I was going to be talking about Microsoft, I would have put Microsoft in the title, because who knows who Transunion is. All right. Hello, Ivan. How's it going? Mark Nay, greetings. And Daniel, greetings. Jay Daniels, how are you doing? They fingerprint you if you get arrested, right? So could they take something like Scotch tape, place your finger over the iPhone sensor and unlock it? There's actually a lot of research done into what it would actually take to scam a fingerprint reader, and it's actually remarkably easy. It's not as easy as Scotch tape like they do it in the movies. You know, here's your Scotch tape and you can put this on the sensor. It's not that easy, but it's fairly easy. Of course, they literally use Scotch tape when doing forensics. One of the greatest things ever done is I did some workshops in forensics back in my former life as a chemist, and we got a chance to sit under one of the United States' foremost experts in criminal forensics, and it was very fun to learn how to do fingerprints and to learn all the fun things about, you know, how you could successfully blow up a car, but then how the police utilized duct tape to figure out who blew up the car using this fun novel method that I'm not going to mention. So, you know, but you learn all sorts of fun stuff going through a forensics course, and you know, it's all that's, you know, studying the study of criminology, or criminalistics is what it is. Criminology is the brain, how the brain works, how does a criminal think. That's like a field of psychology. Criminalistics is actually the field by which you actually engage in that. So I still have fingerprinting kits and drug test kits laying around here somewhere from that. Kind of fun. Hello, LaShark. How's it going there? I am doing well. Ask is a crappy search engine, extremely crappy. Yes, actually, Ask is so bad. If you run Ask, it puts something like 35 different cookie trackers in your computer. I totally made that number up, but it's a lot. They're like crazy. Windows 10, I'll pass indefinitely. I don't think a fingerprint sensor can tell the difference between a fingerprint and a copy of fingerprint. Correct. And by the way, the new Galaxy, was it the SA? I don't know what Galaxy they're up to now. The new Galaxy is remarkably easy to spoof with its own camera. Take a picture of your eye with its own camera, put it on a little filter, and mount it to a contact lens as a 3D picture printout, and you can spoof the Galaxy, the new Galaxy Iris scanner. Kind of fun. Why are macros even a thing? Because they actually allow you to do neat stuff. Actually, it's kind of a pain because I run some macros on my spreadsheets for my budgeting stuff, and every time I open LibreOffice, it's like, there's macros. I am aware of that. Can I please just set this document to safe? Don't ask me again. But no. The only way would be to turn it off, then it breaks my spreadsheet. So, you want to cry again, Ivan? I'm sorry. I'll get you some tissues. Do I have tissues? Yeah. Sometimes I have some tissues on my desk, but apparently not. Who uses them other than virus creators? You know, I do, but not too much more than that. Got arrested and they took my DNA, even though I got off. Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, if you're suspected of a crime, they can get a warrant for your DNA. That's a bummer. Need rubber tape to spoof fingerprints. I'm worried about their database security. I would be worried about their database security, especially since if you saw, I think it was last week or something, some contractor to the NSA had a lot of serious sensitive data on an AWS cloud. And you're like, AWS clouds are like everywhere. Everyone's like, AWS clouds, which are good things. But my Lord, if you do not have a person there who knows how to secure that thing, I mean, these guys will have like all their security ports completely open. 000 security groups. Oh, we don't need a security group. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It's actually remarkably easy to get into an AWS cloud if they don't have security group. Doubt it's secure. Who made Ask? What company made Ask? I have no idea. Does anybody want to look up what company made Ask? What? why do I have a, I don't know. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I have some weird things in my articles. I'm wondering if I grabbed the right article list here. Oh, yeah, I did. I'm good. Sometimes I don't delete my article list, so I might actually pull last week's article list up. All right, so next we're going to have a look at our scammers. Where's my scammers? There's my scammers. Yay, my scammers. All right, so this is neat. This one here, I am reasonably sure that if you go back and you watch my video on how I got a scammer to call the police on himself, I'm pretty sure it was these guys. So basically, there was a Florida man who was blasting out the robocalls. Of course, that's the one, if you actually watched a few of those. Now, the one I did, the robocall was a student loan. The other one was not a robocall. I think it was the same group, though. And basically, this guy was finally caught. He was living in Florida, so he was under the United States jurisdiction, but he was robocalling. Well, how he ended up getting caught, there are two ways that he got caught. The first is, apparently don't impersonate TripAdvisor. They kind of take that seriously. And so with TripAdvisor, they alerted the FCC when they were getting complaints from some people saying, "Hey, why are you guys robocalling me?" We're like, "Well, we're not robocalling you." And so that caused an investigation. And then what ended up happening is this robocall system was what was called a sequential number dialer, which meant that he wasn't calling with call lists. Ban all robocalls. Robocalls suck. All right. So they weren't utilizing call lists. He was doing random calling. Well, if you do random calling, you will invariably end up calling and dialing accidentally a medical number. And if you call a medical page number, that's a really big no-no. So this guy gets caught, and he's arrested, whatever else. And I don't even know if they're arrested at this point, to be honest. But he's caught, and FCC determines it's a $120 million fine, okay? This guy made about $100 million. It was $96 million pre-recorded illegal robocalls. And his fine, that's $1 per call. I think that we should look through his books, figure out exactly what this operation cost him, and then bill him 20 times that. That'd be a good thing. And then send him to jail for about 10 years. And then maybe people will stop doing this crap. But anyway, this guy, this is what he did. So what he was doing is he was auto-robo-dialing. You'd press the 1 to get more information, and then that would hook you up with the Mexican group that was selling you the vacation packages and timeshares. And so there was an element. So the final person you got on the phone was out of seas, and so that's how they got away with it for so long, because it was the outside of the United States jurisdiction. And so outside the United States jurisdiction, we have that problem. The robocall, it was the FCC that was able to tie the robocall into what was going on. And so that's kind of that. So this guy here, there he is. He is taken care of. Hopefully that one will stop. Of course, now that he's down, 10 more will probably take its place. I'm still getting robocalls. But I think these are the guys that actually had called me. If you listen to my old scammer calls, then you listen to old scammer calls, then you'll hear those. All right, so next, Buckle. If you shop at Buckle, pretty much all of their stores were hacked. If I remember correctly, is this the one? I think that this is the one. Their online stores were not hacked, but their stores in the store were hacked. And basically from October 28th to April 14th this year, if you have purchased anything at this store, Buckle, which I've never heard of, if you have purchased anything at Buckle, somebody probably has stolen your credit card data. Or debit card data if you're a cash guy, then stolen your debit card data. Of course, I actually got one. Does that still have it here? Is it handy? Look at that, GameStop. Because I used my debit card when I bought my iPhone, and apparently some scammer has my debit card number now, and now if I call my bank to get a new card, they'll probably be like, "It'll be $10, please, to reissue you a card." Best Buy. I'm going to walk in there with a bunch of $100 bills next time I want to buy something. Jeez. But anyway, so if you have bought something at Buckle, keep in mind, and here's another argument. Pay cash, people. Pay cash. I have not used either a credit or a debit card. I don't think since March or April. I don't think I've used any debit cards even since March or April. Maybe once or twice. But for the most part, I go out, I get out the cash I plan to spend for the month. I drop the cash on the table when I'm going out, and that's it. And you know what? I have no worry that did somebody steal my credit card number or debit card number in my case. With the debit card number, I don't have to worry about that. So, just keep that in mind. Switch to cash for pretty much everything that you can, and you'll be a little bit better. And no, the FTC does not need your bank information either. So there is actually a legitimate settlement going on with Western Union about all of these. Western Union didn't do enough to stop the little old ladies from bailing out my little nephew Johnny from jail over in Nigeria. Western Union apparently didn't do enough to stop it, and so the FTC is it's actually, is it the FTC? No, it's the Justice Department that is taking care of this account. But on light of this is how smart these scammers are. On light of this, you may have heard something in the news lately that there's some settlement going on. So now scammers are taking advantage of this news about the court case with Western Union and utilizing that to say, hey, we've determined that you are eligible for this. Give us your banking information. We're going to wire you the money. Oh, boy. If you believe that, I have some oceanfront property in Montana. But something to keep in mind, folks. The FTC and nobody else, like no institution, the IRS, the FTC, nobody is going to send you an email legitimately wanting your banking information. Just keep that in mind. Train your elderly parents to that. Interactive Corp. Who is Interactive Corp? You got my curiosity piqued now, Mark. In the future, our current DNA tests will be called witchcraft. Yeah, probably. Good on you. Always nice to have scammers get messed with. Yeah, I think I had a few that I sent to voicemail or whatever else. Like, I just didn't have time, or I just made fun. I answered as a drunken hick one day last week when someone called. It was pretty fun. That was awesome. I was like, I won, man, what I win. Oh, man, it was great. He hung up real quick. Brother did it for me. Huh. Oh, cool. I just noticed it's a duck. That's awesome. Bank cancels my card every time I don't use debit card in a month, so I told them I do not want another one. Oh boy, yeah, that's funny. It's hilarious because like I've had one confirmed fraud account on my debit card in like 20 years. I've had the account. I'm the one that caught it. But then it's like the most hilarious thing because it's like one day I'm in California and I have a computer screen that's broken and I need to fix it. And so I'm in California. I call up an international company. I pay extra money to overnight a computer screen to an address that is not my own in a completely different state. No problems. The bank didn't have a problem with that at all. I mean, whatever. But wouldn't you know it? Not too long later, I put a $30 purchase on the Walmart 1 mile from my house. They flag it as potential spam. What kind of algorithm you got, bank? Jeez. Wait, what? It's not a duck, it's a cat? What? That's a duck, man! That's a duck! It's got the little feathers up here, we got a little beak over here. I mean, how do you get a cat out of that? I don't see the cat, man. I'm gonna have to go look at your channel there, see it bigger. I don't see the cat. I see a duck. All right, poll. Is it a duck or is it a cat? No. We'll take Ron's word for it. It's apparently a cat. Oh boy. Are we ready for privacy? My favorite. They're watching you with their fingerprints. So Rhode Island is seeking yet another time. Apparently they do this every couple months or every couple years. Eventually they're just going to keep doing it, reintroducing the same bill that people keep on shooting down until eventually it's like, okay, fine, we'll take it. So Rhode Island bill seeks to use a highway surveillance camera for ticketing uninsured motorists. Yeah, there's some fun stuff in this article. So according to this article here, they're going to mount these cameras. They're going to take a picture of the license plate, cross-reference that with state data about people who have expired or canceled registrations or other policies. And then if there happens to be a violation, they're going to issue a $120 fee. 50% of this will go to the contractor and 50% of this will go to the state. Yeah, I don't smell a scandal there. And then, of course, they say in the article here that if in 60 seconds, if a violation is not found in the database within 60 seconds, then the photos will be deleted. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They'll be deleted. They'll be deleted from this camera, but we'll have them on our mainframe just in case somebody questions it. Because suppose that data is questioned. So suppose that they send you a bill for $120 and you say, we don't have a problem. I think they actually said that those without a violation. So those with the violation will be stored. Those without the violation will be not. Apparently, I think that's what they're doing. Now, this is not red light cameras. They're cross-referencing databases to find uninsured drivers is what they're doing. And, this just gets to that creepy thing that I found not too long ago. I realized that you can now purchase a device that will cover your license plate. So you can cover your license plate so people driving by with cameras or whatever else can't spot your things. And so it's just kind of getting creepy, just the amount. Because all this basically, I mean, they can track who's where driving down the road. And that's kind of creepy there a little bit, But anyway, this is kind of what Rhode Island's wanting to do, which is scary to the absolute extreme. So, of course, talking about being tracked wherever you happen to go. Anyone on Snapchat? Yay! We have the new Snap Map. What does Snap Map do? Well, what Snap Map does is when you click on your Snap Map, your Snapchat, whatever, it will now give you an ability to post your location anytime you open Snapchat. So you open up Snapchat, open up your app, boom, post your location on a map with your logo. Everyone can see. That's awesome. Stalking, man! Social media making stalking better since 2008. Now there is this ghost mode. Now what's unaware is as they push this out, is it turned on by default for everybody or is it turned off? And then now that this is out, if somebody creates a new account with Snapchat, is this enabled by default or disabled by default? Because that's kind of a big thing. Is what is the enablement? How is it that people? How is it that they're doing? Because if you look at what Facebook did, when Facebook was first released, pretty much everything was private unless you allow them to see it. But then over the years, if you look at what information was publicly shared over the years, more and more and more stuff became public by default, to the point where if you just create a Facebook account now and never look at your settings, everything that you do, everything that you share, all of your pictures, everything is publicly available, publicly indexable, which means somebody can search your name on Google and find you through your Facebook posts and see your drunken party and not hire you for your job. So be careful what you do on social media. Okay? Oh boy. Of course, what would social media be without Gmail? Anyone using Gmail? Oh, this is great. Google really needs to figure out a better color scheme. You'd think they'd know better than this. But anyway, and are they using the same font I'm using on my Linuxy stuff? Oh man, ooh, that'd be horrible. All right. So basically, Google Suite here, of course, is a paid service. They don't scan your emails for the purpose. I mean, they scan your email for everything else. They don't scan your email for the purpose of pushing you ads. But the personal ones they do, it seems like every 3 or 4 months we get this exact same article, where they come out and say, hey, we're not going to scan your ads anymore. Like, I covered an article 3 months ago where we said the same thing. No, we're not going to use your information anymore. Now they've released their blog post again. I think this was today. Yeah, we're going to stop scanning your emails to push ads to you. Huh? Now, the biggest thing and what really brought this to the forefront is, for a while, if I am at a non-Gmail account, which I am because I don't trust Google with the Gmail accounts, if you send somebody an email who is on Gmail, they are scanning the contents of my email. I never agreed to have the contents of my email scanned, and so how is that not violating wiretapping laws? And that was the case that was brought before that I still don't think that they have a solid decision on one way or the other. But Google is coming out here now and saying that hey, now we are going to stop scanning. Let's see. They're basically what they're doing is they are aligning the free consumer email with how the G Suite works, and they say here that it is not already used to input ads for personalization, but Google has decided to follow the suite later on this year for the free. So in other words, we're not going to scan the contents of your email to push you ads. No, we're just going to use all your browsing history and everything else. But don't worry, you can set a cookie in your browser that will still collect all the data. We just won't push you the ads that are relevant to the data we've collected. Well, until you clear the cookie, of course. And that's kind of the evil of Google and why I don't use the Google search engine. So, Google, why not? Of course, Google couldn't get away with just one article on privacy. They have finally decided that right up there with a lot of other things, personal medical records of private people will now be delisted from Google. How'd they get on there to begin with? Where's my lighter? I'm going to go on fire. All right, I'm on fire. I'm going on fire. All right, let me tell you. There is this thing in this country called HIPAA, and it is illegal for your medical records to get out there at all, period. Somehow, people's private medical records were indexable, searchable, and findable on a public website without their specific knowledge. How did this happen? It's very nice and well that Google has finally decided they're going to do something about this. We're going to start delisting these things, just like we're delisting revenge porn. Literally, it's in the article, trust me. We're going to delist the revenge porn. We're going to delist the private medical data. How is this private medical data on a publicly accessible website that it was possibly indexed by Google in the beginning with? There is this thing called HIPAA. Now, if you search yourself for your medical records and you find your medical records are there and you are here in the United States, you better be taking the search engine, the hospital, the doctor, the hosting company, and the owner of the website. All of them. List them all in a huge, very public lawsuit. Maybe this won't happen again. And people wonder why I'm leery of doctors? Because the nurse don't care. She's just there putting in her hours. Oh, I'm just putting in my hours. I don't care if it's secure. Whoop. In fact, I know a guy that there was a more complicated situation, and I can't even say much about it. But we'll say enemy of the person went right into the doctor's office and asked the nurse for his direct medical records, and the nurse gave it to her. Hungry HIPAAs, I guess. Wow. Of course, our data is not safe anywhere. Yeah, some idiot. I think that this was another AWS thing. AWS thing is not secured. Some third-party contractor working with the RNC accidentally leaked the voter data of pretty much everybody in the country. This isn't just like basically public information. This is the RNC's advanced analytics data on everybody. Literally, like, where's the quote in here? It tells us what this says. Okay. Well over 100 million, exposing their personal information of over 61% of U.S. population. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That was a different breach. This breach is 198 million American voter records by an internet firm working on behalf of the RNC in their efforts to elect Donald Trump. The data, which is stored in publicly accessible cloud server owned by Republican data firm Deep Root Analytics, include 1.1 terabytes of entirely unsecured personal information compiled by DRA and at least 2 other Republican contractors, Target Point and Data Trust. I don't trust them with my data. In total, personal information was potentially near all of 200 million registered Americans voters was exposed, including names, birth dates, home addresses, phone numbers, voter registration details, as well as their modeled voter data, which tells them the ethnicities, religions, social economic status, who they're likely to vote for, and who knows what other data. Okay, this is why we have to have an immediate scrubbing of everybody. Every company in this country needs to be, now I'm going on fire again. Every company in this country needs to immediately purge all copies, all data, every bit of data collected on every bit of person, period. Unless that person specifically opts in to allowing the data to be collected. Because what control do any of us have about any of this crap? This is garbage. And by the way, I'm not just picking on the Republicans here. It's the Democrats who are doing the same thing. It just happens to be the Republicans had the idiots that didn't secure the data. Dorpy, dorpy, dorp. What security group in AWS? We don't need no security group. Lord. So now, who are these third-party contractors we keep on hiring for this crap? More importantly, why do we keep on hiring the lowest bidder? Because this is the stuff we get. I think I want to go live in communist Russia now or something. I don't know. Not really, but wow. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. They do that here already. That was the license plate readers, yeah. Police are finding very creative ways to fill their ticket quotas. Yep. Hey, now they did this one as part of reading the 4-hour work week. Yeah, we're just gonna sit back here and let the computers do the work. Go from Dublin to Belfast and don't pay the toll in 24 hours is a €300 fine. Holy moly. How much is the toll if you pay the fine? If you pay the toll. New Snap Map helps you get tracked more easily. Yep. PayPal tries to trick you into entering bank information as a payment source, so it's required you to... Wait, what? PayPal tries to trick you into entering bank account as payment source like it is required you do it right now. Stalking forever. Such an amazing feature. No way it can be real. Next, you're going to tell me if it's an opt-out feature rather than an opt-in. I'm guessing you're referring to the Snapchat map. Actually, other services, I thought another service already did that as well. I remember vaguely covering one. The term we use here is in cop on to say understand a situation in depth. Okay. Hey, Piggy Uniform, how's it going? Cool. Which phone is that one? Is that the Samsung you're talking about, Piggy Uniform? Awesome. Hello, Anna Rita. How's it going there? Yeah, I went on fire twice. Whew! I think I'm going to cook me some barbecue chicken if I go again. Rooted it already. Sweet. This is why I do local backup and no cloud for me. Use King Root. Nice. Reset it with a root. Got bricked. Told me to go to Verizon and fix it. Nope. Windows. Mac. DNC refused FBI help when they were hacked by Russia. Isn't this a national security issue? So why didn't they grab those servers and router info. Anyway. Once the device is bricked, is game over. I tell you this, vast majority of Democrats at high levels think that we should go to online voting. It makes it easier for everyone to vote. Yeah, makes it easy for everyone that's owned Russia to vote. I'm an election observer in my county for the GOP. It's scary what you heard from the other side. No, that wasn't an article from the other side. What that was absolute fact admitted with specific resources and listing the companies that failed to secure it. So it's time to add a potential leaking of pretty much all of your personal information to my list of reasons to not register to vote. Yeah. You know? Scary. Soft brick, not hard bricked. Just installed non-rooted. Samsung stock. That worked. Yeah. Not like everything... I'm guessing that's Trump does, but he seems to have his head on his shoulders at times. Note 2, gotta hop off. Well, see ya. See ya, man. All right. Yeah, I voted for Trump because I thought Trump was way better choice than Clinton, and I stand by that. I still think Trump is way better than Clinton, but both of them are terrifying. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Both of them are terrifying. All right, it looks like we're getting into our feature article today. We're just going to pick my Corporatocasy article for my last few here. This is neat. So, yeah, Transunion must pay $60 million, for mistakenly tagging people as possible terrorists. Of course, that was a clickbaity article. It also included known drug traffickers, but that never made it on there. And I tried to include it in my title there, but it was just too many words, and so we'll just stick with terrorists. It's more clickbaity that way, But anyway, so if you don't know who Transunion is, there are 3 major credit reporting agencies that all feed into, curiously, the group that the government uses to do background checks on people, which is very scary because all this data is actually in there. But they're one of the three groups. Of course, they're related here to the department's Office of Asset Control, which is basically unofficially the terrorist watch list. So basically, because TransUnion does such a fabulous job of perfectly recording credit score information, if your name is close to somebody's, and I've had, I forget which one had mistakenly attached a phone number incorrectly. But from this perspective, though, the TransUnion was like, hey, this name's pretty close to this name. I bet they're the same person. And so linking them together and then linking them into potential ties of either terrorists or money launderers or drug kingpins or whatever else. And so a bunch of people got together to sue, and this is back in 2012, of course. But the problem is, and the overall issue is, you get this crazy nebulous watch list that you never really know you're on until you get booted from a flight. And there's really no way of checking it and no way of challenging it. And here TransUnion is basically mistakenly tagging people on this list. And so basically this entire article here is just frightening as all get out, and just makes me want to even more just not have a credit score, and that's the best of all worlds. Disadvantage of not having a credit score, the advantages weigh out the disadvantages. The only major disadvantage is you will pay, here in the States, you will pay a little bit more for car insurance if you do not have a good credit score. Like if you have no credit score or a bad credit score, you will pay a little bit more for car insurance. It's not a significant amount, but it's a little bit more. But the negative consequences is just like outstanding as to what a credit score actually does for you. Basically, a credit score, all it does is how much you play kissy face with the bank. And so pretty much this whole thing is about an article, and of course they're all denying that they did anything wrong, but we maintain that we did all that was feasible in the time period in question to achieve the maximum accuracy for our consumers while meeting the needs of the commerce for consumer credit, which is the goal of FCRA. I have a fun business idea regarding these PR quotes, by the way, but I'll save that for another day. But regardless, this is scary on multiple levels because this is the type of stuff that can do some serious damage to people. In fact, if you watch the old documentary, I say old, I think it came out about a decade ago or so. I think it's like 2010, maybe it came out 2009, I forget, but it's called Maxed Out. Actually, I think you might be able to watch it on YouTube now. I thought I saw it a few times on a YouTube queue, but if you watch that documentary, you'll see the story of, I believe it's Doris. I think it's Doris. She goes in to buy a car on credit. Shame on you, Doris. But she goes in to buy a car on credit, and the car dealer turns her down because her credit score comes back and says, yeah, you're a terrorist. And so she has to go down for depositions. The FBI is called in, and this woman's life is pretty much terrorized by our government because the credit reporting agency reported her as deceased, and here she tries to take out a loan. Well, the fact of the matter is her daughter had died, and her daughter had student loans, and the student loans were wiped out because her daughter had died. And so somebody had made a mistake and said that she had died, and that flagged the entire terrorist watch group list on her. And this is the type of stuff that happens. And once again, just like the RNC's data, we have no way. There are 4 of these companies or so you can call in and have them scrub your data and not ever sell it. But there's about 100 or so of these companies actually buying and selling the data, so you will never get your data out of the hands of these companies. And that's why I'd be in strong favor of a law that says all companies must wipe all private data of every person that do not have a current working business relationship with, and then all data collected must be pure opt-in and only the minimum amount of data that should be collected. Of course, that flies in the face of our current model of data collection for profit, so that's never going to happen, but that's really the thing you need to do. Oh boy. Let's go over and look at the comments before we get into the next article, which is kind of lighter in the tune here. Let's see. If I understand, is the RNC. I'm not happy about that either. Yeah. I used to be registered as Republican, but at the beginning of this year, I switched over to Independent because I haven't really fully agreed with the Republican Party. I agree with the Democratic Party, I think a little bit less. But right now, in the current state of things, I'm finding myself agreeing more with the Democratic view on several issues, some with the Republican view on several issues, and so independent, I'm definitely not libertarian. I think that some things obviously should be illegal, but I'm not full on, I'm not a regulation guy. That's why I like being independent, because I can look at every issue and I can make my own decision. I don't have to follow a party line one way or the other, and it gives me the awesome opportunity to be an equal opportunity offender. So if you are a Democrat, I'm going to offend you at some point in time. If you're a Republican, I'm going to offend you at some point in time, and that's fine. I don't mind. I am an equal opportunity offender. Oh boy. No. How you blank up that badly. They're still running Windows Server 2003. No, man, they're on XP. Get it right. Come on. Probably, if I remember correctly, if that's the article I think it was, they were using an AWS server, but they didn't have security groups configured. Whoops. Both are evil in their own way. Yep. Switch to Linux. What do you think about Mac OS from a privacy standpoint and an overall standpoint? Oh, Mac OS, I hate it. The UI drives me absolutely crazy on so many levels. Now, if you have grown up in it and you have used it perpetually your whole life, you probably will have a different take on it than I do. But as a longtime Windows user who now uses a Mac for about 15 or 20% of my work, I hate the Mac. It drives me crazy. Privacy standpoint, you know, I've heard different things. I don't know as much about privacy and security. The biggest problems I have from the privacy standpoint is if you go into Safari, you can't change your web browsers. You have DuckDuckGo as your only privacy-centric search engine, but I hate DuckDuckGo. So you can choose between DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, Google, or Bing. Talk about a bushel of bad apples. So you can't change that. Another challenge that I have with it is it kind of takes an all or nothing approach to external applications. So if you download an application as a package, so you go online, you download an application. So for example, since I don't buy software for the Mac, I'll use all free and open source software on my Mac. Whereas my Windows computer, I've had that for so long, I've purchased software over the years, so I still use the purchased software that I have. But on my Mac, I run LibreOffice, I run Bluefish Editor, VLC for media, because I will not touch Mac's proprietary apps for anything. Outside their mail app, I use that just because there's 2 or 3 email addresses for other clients that they insist on a Gmail account. So I'm like, whatever. Only gets checked on that computer. You download a program like Bluefish or some of the other programs. I think the VPN program I had downloaded to test VPNs on Mac, they're not registered with their digital key, and so they flag as potential malware. So the only way to run it is to completely turn off security. There's no way I can say, I've downloaded Bluefish Editor and I don't care that it doesn't have Apple's stamp of approval digital seal. I want to run it. There's no way I can go into Mac that I know of. Maybe there is. There's no way going into the Mac that I know of where I can say this program is safe. As long as this program is on this computer, never ask me this question again, but keep everything else out there. So for me to use the applications I want to use on my Mac, I have to turn off the security filter. And that in and of itself poses a problem because there's no way I can keep the security filter on but say I'm going to whitelist this one app, at least not a way that I have found. And I've looked. I didn't spend hours on it because I don't have hours. If I'm going to edit something, I'm not going to do a lot of web design. It's not going to be done on that one. It's going to be done on a Linux computer or on a Windows computer. And then as far as their privacy, I use an iPhone because I think that the iPhone can be locked down a lot better than the Android phones. And I get a sense that I trust Apple more than I trust Microsoft. If I absolutely had to pick between Apple's no, with High Sierra, they're starting to frighten me a little bit too. So it's kind of Linux for me for a while, but I'm not a fan, but that's my opinion. I mean, as a person who uses all operating systems, that's my opinion. Apple is not so innocent as most people think, as they have your data even if they say they don't. So be careful. Yep, that's it. Depends on which state you live in as to which credit reporting agency keeps all the bad things and never deletes it. I could go to where they use TransUnion and I have excellent credit. Well, the problem is that there's 3 big national ones. You have TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax are your major ones. The problem isn't all with those groups. It is there are hundreds and hundreds of data brokers that you've never heard of that are constantly all buying and selling data. And guess who one of the biggest customers and clients of theirs is? Facebook. So all the stuff that they never could collect on you before, they now have because of Facebook's association with these guys. And they're all in cahoots with each other. They're all buying and selling their data back and forth for syncing data. So there are no states in the United States that mandate that all this data must be deleted. All of it comes down to what is the grace and the mercy of that individual company. But since there are hundreds of them, there's only a small handful of them that actually allows you to delete the data. Apple absolutely loathes the idea of privacy. macOS is riddled with planned obsolescence. The OS itself is pretty much a walled garden. Hey, they got a bashed, so there's that. Yeah, that's a PR quote. Yeah, there was a PR quote. That was from there. TransUnion tells consumers that a company is evaluating its options related to the verdict. So this is from a representative. Quote, "We maintain that we did all that was feasible in the time period in question to achieve maximum accuracy for our consumers while meeting the needs of commerce and consumer credit, which is the goal of FCRA." That is a quote from Transunion. Did what they could do until they got caught. Yep, that's it. Look at the iPhone for planned obsolescence. Yep, planned obsolescence in the iPhone sucks. Only thing I see wrong with MacBook Pro, inside looks cheap. It's not cheap price. Yeah, it's getting cheaper and cheaper, and 2 in the middle, so what does that make me? Thoughts here in Oregon, we have to call you a non-affiliated independent is a party more along the lines of Democrats. No, I have to do something again. I don't want to be grouped with any nutcase. I'm nutcase enough for myself. So question, is it okay to use a swap on a hybrid? Okay, a hybrid drive SSHD, yes, it generally is. What a hybrid does, an SSHD, is there's only like 8 gigabytes of data at the beginning that is used for starting the operating system. The idea is that it starts an operating system. So as you install your OS, the drive has a logical processor that will determine, it determines what files are needed at startup. And then it will take those files and store those in essentially what is a little USB drive in the front of the drive. And then it will use those. And then the rest of the drive, those are mechanical drives. So you might have a failure on startup, but you should still be able to access the data. But yeah, I wouldn't use a swap partition on an SSD otherwise. At least not much. What about Start Page? I like Start Page. That's one I use. If you're using Safari, you can't do it. And even Firefox on the iPhone, you can't use Start Page. You're still locked in only to those. It's like even Firefox, an open source platform, to get their app on the Apple Store for download to your iPhone, they had to restrict the ability to put your own search engine on it. You are still locked to Bing, Google, DuckDuckGo, and Yahoo. So, I mean, you can obviously go there and set it as your home page, but what I'm talking about is you go up to the search bar, you click into search. That's the thing that gets restricted, is the ability to set your default search engine. So I mentioned I just got an email from PayPal and the title says, "Send money abroad quickly." Do it. Do it. Do it. It's legit, man. You see, Germany are going to be listening on WhatsApp because why would we want encryption? Yeah, of course. No, I did not see that article, though. That's terrifying. Big Brother is watching. Ingsoc. Ingsoc. Compared to all the engines and Start Pages is favorite. Personally, it's a lot slower than DuckDuckGo for me. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I just still can't. I don't like the results I get on DuckDuckGo, and I just don't like how it outputs the data. Android, we have custom ROMs. Yes, we do. But you're still locked into Android. That's the problem. You're still locked into Android. You Start Page on all devices now. So do I. Start Page rocks. Cannot config Firefox on the iPhone. No, you cannot config Firefox on the iPhone. It is quite comical. So, come over here. Where's my Firefox? Let me see if I can get to where I can actually do it. Okay, so you can set your home page as what you want. But I'm going to go into settings. Okay, so here is my settings on Firefox. This is Firefox app. And I'm not sure I can do this staring at the camera there. Here are my search engine options. Oh, wow, there's more actually. Yahoo, Amazon, Google, Twitter, Wikipedia, and Bing. Yeah. I have DuckDuckGo on as my default, and I have Google as well on because sometimes I actually do need Google, which is unfortunate, but I keep it around, but don't actually use it. So no, you can't configure it on the iPhone. Problem with Tor and NoScript is if you use it, then sites don't work. They block it. Yeah, that's the problem. If you're on Tor and you disable JavaScript, which is the best way to go on the internet, yeah, pretty much most of the internet won't work. They'll be like, oh my, we can't load all of our JavaScript and crap. We're not going to load. Not sync Firefox and iPhone. Yep. It's basically the same thing as Safari, really. All right, let's go ahead and get back to our articles. We have some fun articles here. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. Look at this. We get another one. Woo! Turn ad blocker off for CNBC. No. 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 You're a huge news conglomerate. You have a hissy fit about me running an ad blocker. I'm going to run an ad blocker on more of your properties. This article I thought was interesting for a fascinating reason. This is like corporate, like, it's not our problem, they did it. So Dunkin' Donuts is concerned that their afternoon sales are dropping, and what are they doing? They're blaming McDonald's McCafe. Oh, shut up, you whiny idiots. You know? So basically, they're talking about, Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Competitors like McDonald's and Burger King have taken a toll on afternoon sales. CEO Nigel Travis cried and wept during the interview. It's becoming a little bit more crowded, a bit more aggressive, but I think that's what Dunkin' enjoys. He says, we enjoy fighting hard around the country. Of course, he's talking about the number of other people in the industry, not the crowds rushing in Dunkin' Donuts. Since jumping into the coffee fray, McDonald's has been benefited from pricing its beverages lower than its direct coffee competitors like Starbucks and Dunkin'. The chain has doubled down on its value, serving up $1 soft drinks and $2 McCafe beverages that include coffee, frappes, and lattes. Okay, now, I have my own thoughts. Now, for whatever reason, Dunkin' Donuts is exploding in my town again. We've had like 3 built in the last couple years, and we're getting even more. And I will tell you why Dunkin' Donuts is not doing well. I will tell you why. As a consumer of Dunkin' Donuts, because for the last couple of weeks, and I've decided I'm not going to do it this week, but for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a very early morning book reading club. And then, so I leave that, and then I still am committed to writing for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. So I go over to write for an hour in the morning, and since I'm already out and about, I'm like, I'm going to stop it. There's the Dunkin' Donuts, not too far. It's like, I got to go here. Here's the post office, and then up here's the Dunkin' Donuts back on the way to the office. So I'll stop there at Dunkin' Donuts. And I've done this for 2 weeks in a row, and it's horrible. And every other time I've gone to Dunkin' Donuts, I will tell you Dunkin' Donuts' problem. The reason why they are not having the customers, it is because their environment in their store sucks. They are following some crazy 80s model, but then making it worse. They're doing these crazy bright colors, which actually psychologically are known to cause a lot of just a lot of edginess. And this is why if you look at McDonald's and you see what McDonald's was and what McDonald's is now, notice that their environment is a lot more relaxed, even though it's a fast food restaurant. Completely crowded, and McDonald's is still a better place to go than Dunkin' Donuts. Because every single time I've been to this Dunkin' Donuts, and many of them, except for the one right downtown on the main walkways, every other Dunkin' Donuts I've been into, there's nobody ever there. The only other people I see at the table are Dunkin' Donuts employees. I see the manager over here doing his managery stuff. I see the people over here on their break stuff, and no other customers. The reason is the environment is horrible. Their colors are bright. They have these booths. Now, they're trying to make it trendier. This is a brand new store, so they have computer outlets and USB plug-in outlets at every booth, at every bench, so you can charge your phone and have your computer, and they're always empty. Why? Because they blare the music so loud you cannot hear yourself think. And they play a song, and then play an annoying, stupid Dunkin' Donuts commercial. A song, a commercial, a song, and a commercial. And it's blaring at like, I don't even know how many decibels. That's the reason why they do not have it. Because their environment is horrible. Why do you go to a coffee shop? There are 2 reasons, 2 compelling reasons a person goes to a coffee shop. Compelling reason number 1 is you want to go out, have a coffee with a friend, and talk. I can't talk if I'm talking this loud because the radio and they have a speaker above every single table and it's too stinking loud. Number two, you'd go to work. And that's what I do. I bring a computer, I open it up, and I sit there and I try and type. I found that I can type through loud songs, but as soon as their commercials stop, I'm stopped in the water. I can't focus because they got some stupid voice actors all doing their stupid commercials for their own drinks. It's like, Dunkin' Donuts, I'm already in your store. Stop over marketing to me. That's the reason they're failing. They're not failing because McDonald's. No, you're failing because you have produced a hostile environment that your customers don't enjoy it. That's why. Dunkin' Donuts, that's why. And every one of these you go into, it's the same way, which that tells you what? What does it mean that every single Dunkin' Donuts I go into, the music is blaring excessively loud? Because corporation tells them to. Corporation tells them to. If I go into the manager and complain, they would be like, their response is, I'm really sorry for that. This is as loud as the company wants us to play it. If we get audited, if we turn it down for you while you're in here and an auditor comes in, we're going to get fined for not blaring the music with our stupid channel and our stupid commercials. Dunkin' Donuts, that's what your problem is. Stop blaming McDonald's. Stop blaming other people. Why don't you look inside your own restaurant? Why don't you go in there and sit in your store and ask if you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody without yelling, or if you can sit there and do work? Because that's why I go to coffee shops. I go to a place where I can either have a conversation with somebody or bring a computer and work. And I can't do that if you're blaring music at the approximate volume of a rock concert. Oh boy. Oh boy. I have no idea why this thing's doing this. I must have copied an article incorrectly. Must be this article. Yep, this looks right. This is hilarious. So Walmart, and I kind of wanted to do a whole series because there's been a whole ton of Walmart versus Amazon news articles in the last couple of weeks, and it's been kind of hilarious to read them all. But I just ultimately decided it's not real tech related. But this one was revolving AWS, so I decided to talk about it. So what's going on here is Walmart has been doing a lot of funny things to entice small retailers to move over to the Walmart platform instead of the Amazon platform because, Amazon doesn't treat their store people like people, apparently. Not that Walmart would. If you know anything about Walmart's past behavior in doing product acquisition deals, they're as slimy as they come. But regardless, Walmart is trying to entice people over to sell on the Walmart platform rather than the Amazon platform. So some of these people are like, okay, we're going to go over here and do this. Well, the problem is, if you need a good scalable web store, you need a good server. AWS is one of the few in the market that will give you a good cloud scalable server. Of course, make sure you lock it down with security groups. But Walmart's been coming back and telling people that if their main website is on AWS servers, they're telling them they need to get their servers off. So Walmart's like, hey, we're happy to sell your products, but you take down that Amazon server. We do not want you supporting Amazon while we're selling your products for you. What's their solution? Go to Microsoft's. Yeah. Now, of course, I don't know who I hate more, Microsoft or Amazon. Microsoft, actually, but Amazon's pretty scary. But regardless, you get a lot of that fun stuff there. Anyway, in fact, of course, Amazon responds back, yes, we've heard Walmart continues to try to bully their suppliers into not using AWS because they have an incorrect view of AWS as somehow supporting Amazon's retail business, which in North America generated more than $2.3 billion of its operating profit. Why did they say that? It's like a bad story in a bad book. By the way, this is what we did. Want to send some of that $2.3 billion to some of us struggling to pay our bills, please? Including Prime Video and Alexa devices to spy on all your customers. You might have taken ours, people, but we know what all your customers are really looking for. Whereas plenty of suppliers are standing up to Walmart, refusing to be told they can't use the leading infrastructure technology platform. Tactics like this are bad for business and the customers and rarely carry the day. So that's an interesting thing. So that's that one. Let's see. That's business. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Browsers also had WebKit based. From what I know, DuckDuckGo uses Bing and Yahoo. I think Bing actually is what it uses. The site demands I disable ad blocker. It will not load. I just close the tab. Yeah, that's usually what I do. But if I want to pull the primary literature source, then that's what I'll allow it for this purpose. Those cold coffee drinks taste like bitter water to me. That's $2.50. Starbucks in a bottle's good. McDonald's is nice now. Nicer than Dunkin' Donuts. Wonder about Dunkin' Donuts. There are none in this area, and in fact, I live in Utah, South Dakota, and now back to my home state in Oregon, no locations. It must be a Midwest or Eastern thing. They're a New England company. In fact, when I was in, I think it was in Connecticut not too long ago, I was driving through there, and like every corner, they got Dunkin' Donuts. In fact, I noticed this intriguing progression as you travel from east to west. As on the East Coast, you go to into the Walmarts, and they have Dunkin' Donuts. You start migrating over, and then the Walmart started getting McDonald's, and then the further west you got, they eventually started getting Subways. So it's like it gets a little healthier as you approach those California states where they're absolutely required to list calories on the menu. Of course, what's hilarious is when I go to McDonald's versus I go to Subway, I eat more calories at Subway than I eat at McDonald's. Not that calories actually mean anything, but regardless, if you are a calorie counter, you probably eat more calories if you go to Subway than you eat if you go to McDonald's. Just an FYI. So yeah, I don't know how far west they go. Wife brings her own coffee from home. She says she does not feel like giving $2.50 for coffee. Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's in fact what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do starting next week as I'm wrapping up this club is I'm just going to bring an extra pot of coffee with me because I have my big thermos. So I'm just going to make an extra pot of coffee in the morning, bring the thermos, and go to a park instead. Look at Planet Fitness and all the purple and yellow machines. Here too, but they're gone now. Even going to any McDonald's hardly anymore. I don't go to McDonald's anymore. Just too high for junk food. Their answer to solve economic problem: franchises spend $700,000 on a kiosk and restaurant upgrades. Yep. I am amazed that a coffee can be $2.50. The whole can of coffee grounds is around $5.50. Yeah, actually, I pay. It's like 2 pounds. I get 2 pounds of it for $6. And that makes over a month's worth of coffee. But yeah, and that's the scary thing. And I do it in a French press. Hey, Tech Bismo, how's it going there? You have switched to Linux. Awesome. What distro are you using there, Tech Bismo? I'm guessing its age and how bad the restaurants have gotten. Walmart has cloud servers. No, Walmart does not have cloud servers. Microsoft has cloud servers. Walmart just doesn't want to support anything Amazon does, and so they're telling people to go to Microsoft's cloud servers, which is the Azure server. My wife and I got rid of our coffee machine, replaced it with press coffee, which is not electronic. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I did. I saved the coffee pot for a few months in case I really want to go back to it, but my power bill's a lot less because I'm not running the coffee pot all the time. The coffee's a lot better. It's not electric, so it saves. It's just a whole lot better. I really like the French press. And I bought my French press for found it on sale somewhere for $10. So it was awesome bonus. Back for 5 seconds and already interested. Nice. Greetings there, JJ Game. How's it going? Have never and never will use Microsoft services and servers. Yeah, they scare me. Walmart selling below wholesale on jet.com to take Amazon's online business. Selling below wholesale should be illegal. Might be. Certain products there are. So cigarettes, alcohol, a few of those more controlled substances, there was minimum prices. And this shocked me too. There's a minimum price set on milk. Huh? Yeah, minimum price set on milk. Boo, Microsoft. Yeah. Real ground and pressed is the best. Yep, absolutely. Although I generally get pre-ground coffee. I should grind it myself, but Searching for a new phone, Android with custom ROM or iPhone from a privacy and overall standpoint. I personally, I've not done Android custom ROMs, but I I prefer the iPhone over the Android in general. I find that they're better from a privacy standpoint. But I don't know what all the custom ROMs are capable of anymore. You know, it's still Android, and Android still is a Google product, and Google still has some proprietary code in it. So that's my thoughts on the matter, but I need to research it a little bit more. Linux Mint, and it's awesome. Sweet. Linux Mint rocks. That's what I'm using right now. Use Amazon Prime to order things, but will never use Alexa. Everyone knows she's a spy. Yep. Frank Martin. Tom, thanks for all the thoughts. Been fun. Hey, we'll see you, Frank Martin. Sounds like you're leaving. Doesn't DuckDuckGo not give anything to Bing, Yahoo, or Yandex? Not give anything. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is supposed to be a good privacy system. I haven't seen anything to tell me that it wouldn't be. I just don't like the layout of it. That's why I prefer Start Page. But yeah. If you like Bing or Yahoo, DuckDuckGo might be your preferred thing. If you like Google, use Start Page because they'll use their respective places. A good choice, can't go wrong with it. Hope it goes well. My Walmart has a Subway. Yeah, I think most of them are moving towards the Subway, the healthier choice. Subway's pretty good, yeah. I've gotten the same sub for 20 years at Subway. I think it's time to change, isn't it? You'll check out your channel, and you have a wonderful evening. All right, awesome. All right, I like Sonic. I like their food, eating in a car, ice cream, M&Ms, much better than McDonald's or Dairy Queen. They just have girls on roller skates. Yeah, I lived in a town with a Sonic, and I can say I've never actually eaten there. Still think instant coffee for the win. How dare you? I should just block you for that. Oh, no, I won't block you. Yeah, instant coffee, though. I'm not a fan. I'm a coffee connoisseur. Some odd reason I own an Androcept Dronespizol pen, which is an Alzheimer's disease treatment. Why do I have this? You forgot why. I mean, it's a good sign. I mean, I don't know. No, it's still Google, but if you can have an old Droid, try custom ROM if you can. See you, Daniel. Grind your coffee beans, Tom, so you always have fresh batch and fill the room with aroma. Yeah, and I like grinding my own coffee. It's just where I get my coffee, I find it hard. I should really go downtown to the place that actually roasts it in the store, and I should go down and see if the problem for me is I don't want to spend I don't want to pay twice as much for coffee if I need to because I drink a lot of coffee. Should name a sub after you. The Linux sub. Yes. The Linux sub. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, let's get into... No, I don't want to sign up for your biotech news review. Let's have a look at our official Corporatocasy articles. Mylan offered EpiPen discounts to states in exchange for privileged status. Jeez. So... pretty much they're trying to say, yeah, we're going to give you Medicaid discounts so you can pay us less money every time somebody needs to bill Medicaid for an EpiPen, as long as you make it really, really, really hard for people to get anything that's our competition. You know, if you didn't follow this article, the board finally voted. And they voted down temporarily on the salary increases of the chief board members, but this absolutely horribly corrupt CEO gets to stay and whatever. It's just insane, you know, which is just kind of crazy. But yeah, pretty much. They had said that you will if you make it so that a person has to ask by name. For your competitor. Where was it at? Mylan believes this claim. Let's see. See if I can find the quote in here or not. Suit Mylan believes the claim in the lawsuit without merit and intends to defend them vigorously, said some corrupt idiot working over there at Mylan. Said that the EpiPen competed actively with the other products whose list prices were repeatedly higher than the list prices for the EpiPen devices. Huh? Anyway, they were offering discounts to states. Let's see. Provided, okay, one email from 2015 said an employee of Magdalen Health, which helps the state negotiate drug prices for Medicaid patients, wrote to Nebraska state employee that the EpiPen rebate offers available to Nebraska and other states, quote, provide enhanced savings for making EpiPens exclusive epinephrine delivery systems on the preferred drug list. Scary. Scary. Mylan, though, is not the only one playing dirty. It looks like Comcast is also playing a little bit dirty. So they wanted to buy this little telecom company in Houston. It's outside of Houston that services like 2,500 employees, or 2,500. Let's see, what is it? I thought the article said 2,500 customers, but here they're saying 229. What's the discrepancy here? Basically, they were going into negotiations. They wanted to offer this small company only a fraction of what their business was actually worth. The company came back and said, no, we're not going to sell to you. So Comcast went around and cut all the lines to their service. Oh, boy. Can we just close down Comcast now? So, pretty much... forced them kind of into bankruptcy, and now they're suing Comcast. It's only something like $600,000. Oh, more than $1 million in damage, actually, and punitive damages for negligence, torturous interference with contract, and aiding and abetting conspiracy. So basically, what they did is, in part of the negotiations, they figured out where all of these, they figured out how all the entire infrastructure works as part of the deal. And then when the people pulled out of the deal because they wouldn't give them enough money, they just went through, took the plans that they had access to because of the negotiations, and cut all the cable lines. What will Comcast not do to be corrupt? You know? And here's the sad thing, okay? Here's the sad thing. And I used to live out west. In the little town I lived in out west, the cable company is still independent. In fact, they're one of my clients. So I manage their websites for them. And here's the thing. So suppose Comcast comes in and does something like that, puts them out of business, costs them a whole lot of money. Guess what? That directly impacts my salary. Because I will have lost a customer, a client of mine, because of Comcast just being jerks. See, this is what is messed up about the United States justice system. Our justice system only seeks damage. It never assumes that damage was intentional. And even though we model a lot of our legal system out of the biblical laws, but the problem is we didn't take it far enough. In the biblical laws, if you accidentally cause harm, you are required to pay for the damages of the current value. So in other words, if I'm driving my car down and somebody causes an accident and damages my car, they're liable for the actual damage. But in the biblical narrative, if my neighbor just gets in some drunken rage and goes outside with a baseball bat and beats the tar out of my car intentionally, his penalty is the same exact thing. It's just to pay me the valuation of my car. The biblical law, if the offense is intentional, they're to pay back 3 times the amount of the caused damage. And so any situation in this country, if it is shown that it is willful disobedience of the law that causes the damage, the company should be required to pay back 3 times the actual damage done. And that's kind of the issue that we need to be looking at. So it's all in well that this little company is going to sue Big Bad Comcast. I have a sneaky suspicion that Big Bad Comcast is going to win this because they seem to have an FCC chair in their pocket. So that's my prediction on this case. But this is just bad business because now Comcast, they can steal all their customers. Oh, you haven't been getting service with these guys. We don't know what happened to their lines, but we'll sell you service right now for like twice what he's charging you. Way to go, Comcast. Way to go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Some odd reason let's see, I think I'm already there. I should try it. If I find myself in town with Sonic again, I'll give it a try sometime. Get an old coffee grinder and have a workout. The thing is, I have an electric coffee grinder, but if I want to grind coffee again for real, I will actually look for an original, like a hand grinding system. Get the likes in now. Show some support. All right. Yeah. Just a reminder, thumb up for the stream. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So cheap to make, and it's for life-saving or sick, it is immoral to put up the price. That's the thing, This thing costs $1 to make. They sell it for like $600. Like, come on, dude. At what point in time are you just being a greedy jerk to buy another yacht? This is why I don't really trust the medical community. On top of that, telling me all the things they tell me to buy for, buy this for, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's not really healthy. Aware that if you have any old cell phones in storage, it's a hazard. Batteries corrode, swell up, and expand the phone. Get rid of them. No, I like keeping them in the box. It keeps my life exciting when I have a random box on the shelf go. But, All right, are we ready for our last article of the day? This is under the category of okay, then. An armed robber forces a family to take him shopping at Target. Wow. So pretty much this guy shows up at somebody's door at 7 a.m. asking for money. And some idiot in the house gave him some. Well, there's your first mistake. Let's find a gullible idiot who will give me money. I bet any gullible idiot who will give me money at 7 in the morning will also take me shopping. So the guy gives him some money. He shows him a gun. Gets the parent and both parents and 2 kids into the car. And forces them to go to the ATM, withdrawing more money. And then forces him to drive to Target. Once there, he made all 4 victims enter the store with him and made them buy a bunch of clothing and gift cards. One of the victims was able to alert a worker in the store who called 911. Police officers happened to be in the store's parking lot when the call came through. Convenient location. They arrested the suspect without incident. He's been charged with several counts of second-degree kidnapping. Second-degree? Okay, how is it second-degree kidnapping to point a gun to somebody and say, get in the car? This is not second-degree kidnapping, people. This is first-degree kidnapping. Sounds like 4 counts. And with robbery with a dangerous weapon, I think that should be robbery with a deadly weapon, has also been charged with committing a string of other armed robberies and kidnappings in the past few days. In one of those incidences, he allegedly forced victims to withdraw money and drive him to a convenience store. There's a special place in a hell for idiots like this. Special lightning bolts are going to send them there. Let's see the ABC report. I didn't look at the ABC report. Oh, this is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Any North Carolinians down there? Y'all guys do weird things with guns. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Armed robber makes you go shopping only in Russia. Google ends Gmail snooping. Has all the personalized data needed for ads. Nice. That should be an Onion article. We've determined there's nothing else we can find out about anybody else. Hopefully no one was hurt. Yeah, it sounds like no one was hurt. They said arrested without incident. They didn't say arrested with gunfire in the parking lot. You're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. What is this guy doing? Man shopping at Target is a rare sighting unless he's accompanied by a woman. Robber sure didn't miss the target. Oh, ow, was that a bad pun? All right, guys, I think we are going to end this show with some feeding of the kitty on the kitty cam. Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. We're just wrapping up. Oh, boy. All right, everyone, have a good night.